Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Big Blue, and we're here. We're back with another video. Let's go ahead and get right into it. So everybody wants to know exactly what's going on and what Trump is talking about. He's going to be the next president, regardless of how you feel. So let's see what he's talking about, what's in his mind, and what's going on. Because if anything, he's going to say exactly what he means and exactly what he thinks he's going to do. So let's check it out. And as always, to support me, you guys go ahead and like, subscribe, and hit that bell. If you don't hit that bell, then I'm going to end up like that bag of peas that's sitting in the back of your freezer. Let's go ahead and jump right into it.
I want to delve into one of your signature promises on the campaign trail, which was to end inflation, to lower prices. You are now proposing tariffs against the United States' three biggest trading partners. Economists of all stripes say that ultimately consumers pay the price of tariffs.
I don't believe
Can
it.
you guarantee American families won't pay more?
I can't guarantee anything. I can't guarantee tomorrow. But I can say that if you look at just pre-COVID, we had the greatest economy in the history of our country. And I had a lot of tariffs on a lot of different countries, but in particular China. We took in hundreds of billions of dollars, and we had no inflation. In fact, when I handed it over, they didn't have inflation for a year and a half. They went almost 2 years just based on what I had created. And then they created inflation with energy and with spending too much. So I think I'm a big believer in tariffs. I think tariffs are the most beautiful word. I think they're beautiful. It's going to make us rich. We're subsidizing Canada.
And if there's anything he does not backtrack on what he's, for the most part, he doesn't backtrack on what he says. And if he does, then he'll insinuate that he's backtracking a little bit. But those are words that he said in the past. He loves tariffs and he thinks it's a great word. I'm not saying it's a great word. I'm just saying that he's consistent.
To the tune of over $100 billion a year. We're subsidizing Mexico for almost $300 billion. We shouldn't be subsidizing. Why are we subsidizing these countries? If we're going to subsidize them, let them become a state. We're subsidizing Mexico, and we're subsidizing Canada, and we're subsidizing many countries all over the world. And all I want to do is I want to have a level, fast, but fair playing field.
Sir, your previous tariffs during your first administration cost Americans some $80 billion. And now you have major companies from Walmart, Black & Decker, AutoZone saying that any tariffs are going to force them to drive up prices for their consumers. How do you make sure that these CEOs, that these companies don't, in fact, pass on the cost of tariffs to them?
This is the heavy hitter question. I'll go ahead, for those of you that's not understanding, I'll go ahead and explain exactly what tariffs, or at least my understanding of tariffs at the end.
Their consumers.
They cost Americans nothing. They made a great economy for us. They also solve another problem. If we were going to have problems having to do with wars and having to do with other things, tariffs, I have stopped wars with tariffs by saying, you guys want to fight, it's great, but both of you are going to pay tariffs to the United States at 100%. And they have many purposes, tariffs, if properly used. I don't say you use them like a madman. I say properly used. But it didn't cost this country anything. It made this country money. And we never really got the chance to go all out because we had to fight COVID in the last part. And we did it very successfully. And when I handed it over to Biden, the stock market was higher than what it was just previous to COVID coming in. It was actually higher. Tariffs are properly used, are a very powerful tool, not only economically, but also for getting other things outside of economics.
Well, again, prices did go up on some goods in your first administration, washing machines, tires. Will you punish CEOs?
Let me just explain to you. No. You mentioned washing machines. So you look at Whirlpool in Ohio. I got a call from Jim Jordan, one of the greats, congressman from Ohio. And he said, they're going out of business because South Korea and China are dumping washing machines into our country. And I put a 50% tariff on the washing machines coming in from China and South Korea. And Whirlpool and the companies that made washing machines, which are based in Ohio, largely based in Ohio, went through the roof. We saved thousands of jobs, tens of thousands of jobs. They were all going out of business because they were dumping washing machines. And when I put the tariffs on, they became successful businesses. No, it didn't. Not only didn't it cost people, It made our country stronger and more powerful, and it kept jobs.
But how do you make sure that consumers don't wind up paying more? Will you punish CEOs who try to pass the cost of tariffs on to their customers?
Well, the market's going to take care of it. I mean, actually, the market takes care of it. And if it doesn't, we adjust it somewhat. But in the case of Whirlpool, or let's say companies that made washing machines, they were all being put out of business by the dumping from, in particular, South Korea and China. And when I put the tariffs on, very substantial tariffs, although peanuts compared to what people do to us, what countries do to us, it became a very, very powerful, successful company. Now, let's say I didn't do the tariffs. It would have gone out of business. You would have lost tens of thousands of jobs, and you don't include that in your equation. No, they make a lot of money. I'll go a step further. Tariffs are going to make our country rich. Tariffs are going to help us pay off $35 trillion in debt. Tariffs are going to make our country safe because China, as an example, doesn't want to play games with us if we're going to do tariffs on them. They don't want to play games. And we have a lot of games being played on us right now.
Well, I think, and that takes me to my next question.
Yeah.
Are you actually going to impose these tariffs, or are they a negotiating tactic?
Well, I'll give you an example. With Canada, and in particular Mexico, we have millions of people pouring into our country. You agree with that?
So just pulled this information up. When President Trump imposed tariffs on washing machines in 2018, Ohio experienced job growth tied to the increased domestic manufacturing of appliances, particularly Whirlpool Corporation, which has operations in the state. So it looks like because of the tariffs in Ohio, the factory in Ohio for Whirlpool, it created around 200 jobs. That sounds pretty good. That's a lot of people. Well, I wouldn't say a lot of people in Ohio, but that's $200 that people can get in Ohio due to tariffs. Okay, so the things that I want to, from my perspective, and what I want to say really quick, like I said, he's been consistent with everything that he's saying, especially with the tariffs. When it comes to tariffs, the way that my understanding is, he's going to put tariffs on other countries, which means that we won't, as consumers, wouldn't be paying the taxes, which means the idea is that there shouldn't be any more sales tax on items, which is fine. No more sales tax on the items, which theoretically means that you would think that would mean we get more money. The thing that a lot of people that oppose this idea is saying is that if we put the tariffs on other countries, and that means the companies here in America, when they have to buy from overseas, they have to pay more taxes just to bring it over here. So the business idea is to up the price to cover the cost of the tariffs, which means that we would have to be paying more as consumers, even though we don't pay the taxes on it. So it's like, instead of it saying there's a 15% tax, that 50% tax is now already included in the price. It's just not going to come up with the 50% tax. You know what I mean? So that's what everybody's saying. Will that actually be the case? I'm not sure. I think Trump's thing is that we're giving a lot of leverage to all these other companies, and we're giving them the one up and whatnot. They're getting all this labor, all these equity from these companies buying from them, while we're the ones that have to pay in the taxes and all that stuff, because we're trying to, I don't know, the way that taxes work and whatnot. So that's essentially what Trump is saying. Now, the thing that's interesting about Trump is that when he first ran, I talked to a couple of people that I know, people that are Haitian, that are immigrants that came to this country many years ago and that are doing well. Am I saying that they're rich? No, but they have pretty decent jobs. They voted for Trump, and all of them say that when Trump was president in 2016 to 2020, they made more money under him. They were able to live more comfortably under him. I didn't think the money would be that significant, but they said that they've made more money. I don't know exactly what that means, but the way that things were under Trump's presidency, they're willing to have that again. Now, I don't know exactly if I don't think they really paid attention to everything else that's going on, but as far as like the immediates that affect them, that's what they vote off of. So I guess Trump is just going to go ahead and do that again. And again, like you said, he's had some tariffs. He's put in plenty of tariffs, and a lot of those tariffs was still left during the Biden administration. So clearly, even the Democrats thought that some of the tariffs were good. That's the information when it comes to the tariff. That's what he plans on doing with the tariffs. That's what he plans on doing day one, is putting on these tariffs. Y'all let me know in the comment section what y'all think. As always, go ahead and like and subscribe to this video and hit that bell. I'm going to catch you in the next one. Take it easy. Peace.